Hello. Hello, Madam Olubumi Ajayi.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Good evening. See you now. From us.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm very fine. How do you do, Madam Olubumi Ajayi?
How do you do too?
We can't see you now. Are you hiding from us?
Yes.
Oh, the others are supposed to be in class. We are still waiting for them. But I guess we just have to start. Let's wait for like 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
Seems to be the only one in class. All right. Good evening, everybody. Once
Yeah, good
again,
evening.
welcome us all. So we're only 2 in class. We're expecting 2 more people, but I don't know. Let's just proceed. Maybe they'll be meeting us. Let's assume that we would be seeing them shortly. Okay, so it's our custom in our first class that we introduce ourselves so that in case we meet ourselves in the markets, we'll be able to recognize ourselves and exchange greetings. Okay? Yes, Mohammed is in process. Okay, so let me start with introducing myself. Let me also add that you have to put on your video, Madam Olubumi. Eh? Maybe you want to apply
Sorry.
some pancake or something.
No, where I am, I can't put on my video because of.
Okay. But how do we now see you if you don't put on video?
Maybe in the next class, not today.
Okay. Okay. Sure. All right. All right. So okay, Mr. Mohammed, let's see you, please. Madam Oluwaseyi Aisha. She's a veteran, so she's also joining this class for PDUs. Okay, so I'm Oladeji Oluwaseyi. That's my real name, but my normal name is Ibrahim Kazin. I will be your facilitator for this interesting 8-week journey, wherein we would be taking on that dangerous hydra called the PMP certification, and by God's grace, we will be successful. I'll tell you more about myself later. Don't let it be about me. Let it be about you. So, Madam Olubumi, let's hear from you.
Yeah, my name is Olubumi Ajayi, and I'm privileged to be part of this class or training. And I hope that at least at the end of the training, I should be able to go face the Almighty, as we just said.
Yes.
So that's what is my expectation.
Interesting. Okay. So the normal way to introduce the protocol is you tell us your name, which you have done. You tell us what you do. You tell us your expectations. You understand? Tell us what you do. Tell us your expectations, and what excites you. What do you want to take out of here? So you've answered 2 out of 4 already.
Okay, so which of them have I not answered?
What do you do? Do you sell cement, or you sell cars, or you sell or you sell airline tickets, or you sell gold? Or
okay. Unfortunately, I don't even have any of those ones to sell.
Okay.
Yeah, but presently, doing my research work.
Okay.
I'm running it as part-time.
Okay.
Doing it with Glasgow Caledonian.
Okay. Okay.
So
okay.
I think
Glasgow Caledonian, is that a Nigerian company? That sounds like a UK-based company.
Yes.
Okay. Are you in Nigeria at the moment?
Yes, I'm in Nigeria. I'm in Nigeria. Honestly, I'm in Nigeria at the moment. I'm not in the UK. Yes, I'm in Nigeria.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Madam Olubumi. Okay, Mr. Muhammad just sent a message that is where he is now. He can't talk. That he'll get back to us shortly. But he sent a text. I mean, he sent a text message, a chat message. Yes, that is, his name is Muhammad Adeleke, an entrepreneur. The expectation is to gain PMP knowledge, project management knowledge, and blast the PMP exam. All right, that's good. Okay, so this is the first time ever in my 4-year history of taking a class that you have more females in class than male.
24. You said 24 years?
No, I said 4. Oh, no, 5. 2016.
I thought you said 24.
24 BTBO. No. 4-5 years. 4-5 years. My first class I took, PMP class I took, was in 2016. That's 5 years ago. Yeah, so 5 years ago actually. It'll be 5 years by next month. So, and I take these things because I enjoy it a lot, because so many aspects of project management. I look at project management more as the gold mine of important tools, techniques, gems, knowledge, wisdom, tips to enhance myself as an individual, enhance my organization, and enhance humanity. I look at it more in that direction than in the direction of the PMP. The PMP is a way of putting a stamp on what I do.
Yeah.
Putting like a way of saying, yes, we confirm that this guy is on track, is making sense.
Yes.
So I'm saying that because you would see from the approach we would be using in class that as much as we want certification, as much as we want the PMP, but it's almost like a 50-50 thing. We lay emphasis on passing the PMP, and more importantly, we would lay a lot of emphasis on individual transformation, on impacting knowledge, what stays with you after the certification has come and gone, what remains.
Yeah.
And one of the huge motivation for this is that a lot of times one gets to meet some PMPs around and you are really not too impressed. Not because they are not intelligent, but because we are sitting on a gold mine of so much of wisdom that we are supposed to be able to deploy to solve problems, supposed to be able to deploy to be able to enhance what we do. So if you just approach the PMP theoretically to pass the exam and that's the end, sincerely, you are just like someone who is carrying a signed checkbook of $1 million and you have like 50 leaves and you have it signed and then you are hungry and the bank is just there at your backyard. I understand. And then you have this signed check, you have like 50 of them. And you can't
you can't catch it. Yeah.
That is a kind of similitude. It's not even enough safe. It's not even enough safe because PMP is like a world, a huge world of so many things. In fact, somebody was mentioning this thing to me recently that PMP is too big, that we should pipe down on our PMP trainings and start doing focus trainings, picking tiny aspects of those things and overflogging it until people really understand it in depth. Because it's just so big. It's just so big. It's just like saying, where are you? I'm in the US. US is US is almost as if it's the whole continent itself. Where exactly are you? You know, that kind of thing. So there are so many things here and there. So what we will do in class is to we'll just touch on these things. And then there are some of them that we're going to really try to put as much details as possible. But trust me, as much as we would want to focus so much on making the knowledge stick to you, we would rely on you being ready to be drilled, being ready to go the extra mile, being ready to be able to, take out some time extra to be able to get lessons. I would say some more on that. I just remember that Madam Oluwaseyi has not introduced herself. So, Auntie, you did there?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Madam. It's so nice to hear from you once again. How far?
We are here. We thank God. It's so glad. It's so good to be back in class.
Interesting. Yeah, tell us about you. Tell us about you. You know now, the normal way.
Okay, so my name is Oluwaseyi Ayesa. I work with an FMCG. I lead a team of project managers. And my expectation. So I actually got PMP certified late last year from this very same class.
Interesting.
And because I know that the what do you call it?
Syllabus.
The curriculum has changed. I want to bring myself up to date with the changes. I still believe that project management, even though I've passed, I'm a PMP, there's still so many parts of this that needs to be opened up again. I want to continue to open myself to these things until I am able to, how do I say? I don't know, I am struggling with words, but there's so much to know, so much to learn that I want to go all over it all over again, pick all the things I missed the first time. While doing that, of course, get some credits, PDUs as required, but I'm actually in class for the fun of it, and to expand my knowledge some more.
Interesting. Interesting. Thank you very much, Madam Oluwaseyi Aisha.
Yes, sir.
So you have now been appointed as the picnic ambassador of the class. Yes.
Very
So,
funny.
very. Okay, so let's talk about ground rules. You see my point. I'm a very informal person. Yeah. Madam Olubumi, you know, go vex. I'm sorry, I'm usually very informal. So you are sounding like one of all those UK former kind of thing. I hope I will not annoy you. And let me apologize.
I'm also not formal too.
So at least interestingly, we're all Yoruba. Sometimes when I want it to connect, I'll go and use it the way my Alafin used to use it. So I'll just tell you so that you don't say those guys, no, they're not formal people, Sorry, Okay. So ground rules. I am pleading. Why I'm pleading is we are in for a very serious business. When I say serious, I mean capital serious. Serious because we will get value as long as we are ready to assimilate, to ingest value. The system works, but you need to be open to allow the system to work. And part of your being open to allow the system to work is dedication. This coaching program is like no other. I'm not bragging, but I don't know of any other person in the world doing it the way we are doing it. Because I don't know, I'm just okay. I'm not sure. I didn't send you our new landing page. We really bashed those who do PMP training in 4 days. And not like we are bashing them. That's the simple truth. There's so much to be done than just saying somebody should come and sit down somewhere, Saturday, Sunday, boom, and then bye-bye, go and write the PMP exam. Okay, it's like, I call it shock therapy, that kind of thing. There's so much that we want to do, and we have spread it out into 8 weeks. In the 8 weeks, this class, we will be meeting Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, 7:30 to 10:30. But even on the other days that we are not meeting, it is expected that you will give us 1 hour, 2 hours of your day at the very basic minimum. Between 1 hour and 2 hours every single day, you are going to give to us. Sincerely, if you cannot, then there's no point continuing, because we have a working recipe, that is working so much that up till today, every single person who has passed through this recipe and followed the instructions of the recipe have passed. It's by God's grace, so it's not us. You understand? Every single person who has passed through and followed our instructions have passed. So as much as we want to be creative, as much as we want to be creative with what we do, we don't want to touch the recipe. If something is giving you results, you don't want to joke with it. We are not saying that other recipes can't give you results. What we are saying is we know our own recipe and it gives us results. So if you want us to be able to take responsibility for whatever you are doing, then you have to allow us to lead you. So every single day, you have activities to do. The activities will be in the form of quizzes. It could be in the form of mock exams. It could be in the form of reading assignments. It could be in the form of watching assignments, videos. Madam Olubimi, I'm aware that you have been given access to our videos. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know if others have been given access. Madam Aisha, you already have access now, so no wahala.
Okay, that same one worked.
Yes. We will be updating it too. We'll be updating it, but
okay.
Do you know that the new syllabus is still based on paper 6?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's not like all of the whole syllabus is cancelling. No, that's not true. Not like
Okay.
it's cancelling. It's still the same. It's still the same at the core, but it's just that all what you know as the old syllabus is now like 40% of the new syllabus. So a lot
Okay.
of new things, new things. But trust me, no. You know one thing I like about this thing is that they are not bringing knowledge from the sky. It's not from the heaven. There are things that
You
every
can
one
relate
of us, yes, that you can relate with. It's not like they're not telling you that, okay, by the time you bring one red wire, you now spark with a blue wire. Sorry, that one is complex to me because I don't know all those electrical stuff. So maybe if you know electrical, maybe it can be complex to you. But if I want to define something complex, I'll think in the direction of all this complex wiring, blah blah blah. It's not like that. Okay, they're saying, okay, Madam Olubumi, you are the leader of a team. This happens. What would you do? And interestingly, most of the questions they will even ask you are things that you probably would have experienced one way or the other. And the interestingness of the course is that as you are learning something new, you can immediately picture something you have done in the past that you did not handle it the way they said you should handle it. So the way they now ask you a question about it, they're able to connect and say, yes, that is it. Yes, that is it. So that's why I usually tell people that passing the PMP exam is not rocket science at all, but it requires dedication. And our own approach to it is that rather than tell you to come and do one 10-hour class for 4 days, and then we pump you, and then we just leave you like balloon. Once you blow balloon, and then you leave it to go, and maybe it goes into the sky or not. We don't use that approach. Rather, we go in piecemeal every day. It is only when we have class that will be taking 3 hours of your time. Other days, 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, every single day for 8 weeks. So that's one point. The second point is, how will the class go? We have 2 breaks. The first break is 8:10 p.m. 8:10 p.m. That's the first break. The next break is by 9:10 p.m. So both breaks are 10-15 minutes, stretch, take water, shake body, jump up, dust away sleep. And let me also mention, sometimes we are very tired though. So in case sometimes you see my head knocking, so don't worry. I just need some seconds of rest. Madam, I know. Don't talk, don't say anything. I know. So because sometimes it happens. So that's that. So we have break. So we have break to just move around to calm things down. Then we'd also be having a number of class activities. For example, now when we start the class, the first thing we do is called KLP, key learning points. Everybody in class is asked a question. Tell us one thing you learned in the last class. Tell us one thing you learned in the last class. Something unique, something that caught you. Not just read out one dry definition or one dry explanation. Something profound and something unique to you. So meaning that if you say something, somebody else cannot mention that same thing. Pick something else. So the whole goal is at least that does some level of revision for everybody. And yeah, that's it. It does some level of revision for everybody. So we take what you tell us. Sometimes we design a small graphic for you. Say, okay, oh yeah, Madam Olubumi said it to that last class, so she was able to understand that blah 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 blah. So that's that. Then I sent some things to the group about sometimes some of our class activities. Apart from quiz, we do some other things like we share some images, share some videos, share some audio notes. The idea is we want to surround you with content in piecemeal, small. That's one of our secrets. We call it our secret recipe. One of the cornerstone of our secret recipe is that if we do XYZ in class, the next day we want to bring you a mini X maybe a 2-paragraph or 3-paragraph article. I want to give you a 5 minutes or 3 minutes audio, 5 minutes, 7 minutes audio. I want to give you quiz. So those things are supposed to take your short attention throughout the day. So that it's not a case of when you're in class, you're in class. When you're outside class, boom, you are gone. Don't know any other thing again that is happening about what you have done. So we are trying to avoid that. So the goal is if you're able to actively keep some of these things in your mind. For example, you are at work and then you have break, maybe 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. or whatever, or let's say 10:45 a.m. to 11 a.m. or something. You can just check your phone, just load up the group. Okay, you check it. Okay, they want us to do this quiz. They want me to listen to this audio. Just try to listen to these things. So the idea is we want to engage you. We call it 360-degree engagements. We want to bash you from multiple angles. Sometimes it's with a short video, sometimes with a short audio, sometimes with a text, sometimes with images, you know. Sometimes we call you, in fact, not sometimes, a lot of times we call you. So you call, you'll be seeing our call. I'm sure Madam Olubumi is already feeling the heat since she joined. I'm sure probably we must have spoken with her like 5 times. I don't know, maybe 5, maybe 4, maybe 3. I don't know. Sorry, we call people a lot here. We call people a lot here. So if you don't want us to be disturbing you, cooperate. If they say deadline for activity is 5, submit by 5. Because if you don't submit, your phone is liable to ring from us. So that is that. Do we have questions before I proceed? Questions?
No question.
Questions? No questions?
No question.
Okay. All right. So there's an issue. The issue is that the new there's a major issue here. Madam Aisha, we've not gotten materials for you. Are you aware? Oh my God.
Material for me.
No, that's not supposed to. Yes, now. Should have gotten this. There's this. I think it was mentioned.
I'm sure. Yeah, maybe we can
Exactly.
arrange that tomorrow, Abby. How long does it take?
Well, not too long. Just few hours. Because part of this class, you're supposed to do a pre-class assessment. But don't worry, if you can, I can see how we can get this done by maybe later today or something, or tomorrow very early. Because you're supposed to do there's an official PMI pre-training test that you're supposed to do. And then you're supposed to have an official handbook, student manual. Madam Olubumi, do you have your manual?
Manual.
Yes. Do you have your manual?
Yeah.
Do you have your manual? You were given access now. The PMI stuff that you logged into.
Okay.
You didn't check it, did you?
Yeah. Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
The PMI stuff you logged into, you didn't check it. Okay, she's somewhere. Sure. Muhammad, please check WhatsApp. I just sent something to you on WhatsApp. Please check.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's coming into
Yes, sir. I'm good, and you, sir? Yes, sir.
Okay, so what was I saying? We're supposed to take us around the portal, the students, whatever. Madam Olubumi, I just muted you. Are you done with your discussion? Madam Lubimi, can you unmute if you are done with your discussion? So what I was saying is, if we had all gotten the materials, I was supposed to take us around the materials. Madam Olubumi, are you ready now?
Not yet.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. So we're supposed to take us around the materials. Unfortunately, not everybody in class has those materials. So we'll still take us around. We'll use Madam Olubumi's access to, explaining it to her. She would suffice as explaining it to everybody. So explaining it to her would suffice as explaining it to everybody. So once we all get ours, which I believe should be fine-tuned latest by tomorrow morning, what we'll be showing to her, expected that everybody should get their own done. Please, if possible, latest by 12 a.m. tomorrow. Sorry, 12 p.m. Sorry, latest by 12 p.m. tomorrow. We should be able to put that behind us. That's on one side. Then on the other side, in fact, the way PMI has done it right now is that even the training slides that I am supposed to use to facilitate this training is from them. It is from them. They are now so much involved in the training that they are the ones even doing the slides. They are creating the manual, instructor manual, student manual. All of these things are from PMI now. So they've standardized the whole thing. But that now created a problem. That created a problem. The problem it created is that, Madam Oluwase, are you there? Madam Oluwase, are you there? It's like we have lost our network news.
I'm here. I'm just on mute.
Okay. You will understand what I want to say now. Unlike the other time that we were the ones in charge of the slides directly,
Yes.
now they are making a lot of very expensive assumptions at the beginning for training. I mean PMI. For example, they are making assumption that anybody coming to training is already an experienced
Project manager.
Does not have any issue at all with fundamentals of project management.
Yeah, I also did too.
Does not have any issue at all about fundamentals of project management. Does not have any issue at all about fundamentals of agile. So the training just started, you know, that kind of thing in which you are entering a compound and immediately after opening the gate, you are just inside the sitting room straight. That's the kind of stuff that they have done. But for me, Kai, I cannot do that. I cannot do that. So what we'll be doing here is, before we jump into the training proper, we have to first of all trash some fundamentals. We have to first of all trash some fundamentals. So we will start with the fundamentals shortly. So the fundamentals will take the whole of this class and either whole or parts of the next class. So because there's no point deceiving ourselves. There's no point trying to talk to slide when people still have huge gaps. Not because they don't know those things, not because they've not known it before, but for you to understand a lot of what we'll be discussing going forward, you need to have working memory understanding of some principles. Not just, Mokari, Oanuwe. You need to have working memory understanding. What is a sprint? What's a retrospective? What does agile mean? What does this mean? What does that mean? And then some super fundamental principles. What is a project? We need to know what a project is. We need to know the distinction between project and operation. These things look easy, but as easy as they are, if you have some confusion about those super basic things, a lot of the bigger things that you come across, you'll be thinking you're in direction. You even be arguing that you are right, not knowing that you're actually wrong. So I think that should be sufficient introduction for us. That's the introduction to the introduction. So we'll go on break now. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Then we'll start the proper introduction to discuss. Thank you very much. See you in 10 minutes. So drink water.
10 minutes will be 8:30, right?
No, 8:20 new.
Okay, 20. Sorry. The one I'm looking at is about some minutes fast. Okay.
All right. So see you in 8:20.
Thank you.
I think US is going to maybe well done. So what work do you do with the office?
Because of the kind of structure we have, I was drafting it from the university.
Okay.
Because now, before we have to discuss planning and development for church and then commerce university. I was at university as a planning officer of governing at the campus sustainability officer. But now that it's one direct and both have been met because of the project. So now they have drafted two.
Oh, so it's only one director.
Yes.
There is no more physical planning for the university.
Yes.
Okay, it's one now. Okay.
But it has two head maintenance serving as deputies for both sides. So they are reporting to him.
Okay. Okay, they have two head maintenance for the university, one for the church. So what is the architect of principal now?
Project architect.
Is the project architect. The all of the days is that
Director of this company.
You have to sustain your road.
As a sustainability manager,
Yes.
you have to sustain your road.
It was actually countered by because, as I said, the nature of our work here is basically architects and QS majority, except for the facility management aspect of taking care of the whole system. So I didn't fall into any. I'm the only town planner, so I didn't have any relevance per se. I started as a facility officer, managing 4 buildings, and then after a while, I think when they did the 2017 staff revalidation, that was supposed to be a facility officer.
What year? So, yeah. What year did you
Join
see from university?
Okay, that's 2017. It's been around since 2016 because I did my youth service.
Did you finish from this school too?
No, I did not. I finished from the architecture of estates, building
They don't have very good.
during my topic exams and interview. It was a challenge because they put me aside that how can an architect be director of this government that I've been learning on that the same fight that they've always had. So it's quite because I had to talk and do what I was supposed to do. I explained and said, the man of God, he believes an architect. He always uses architects as directors, but in the ministry, he always is not.
The issue of architect also study planning. There are some of them that say architectural and planners. So, planning work, but of course it can be compared to someone that has this major on planning. What is specific?
Hello.
Okay. Now,
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm back.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, sugar. Where's the argument?
Okay, I'm coming. I want to project something. Okay. Okay, so welcome everybody. Once again, I welcome you to by asking some questions.
Yeah,
Let me start by asking some questions. Mr. Muhammad, I can see that you are finally ready for us. So let me feel your pulse. When you hear project management, what comes to your mind? What do you think project management is? Mr. Muhammad, over to you. Is Mr. Muhammad with us?
Good day, everybody. Thanks for this opportunity. Well, like 5, 6 years ago, when I hear project management, I just see it as normal English. I don't bother myself to think about what it is or how relevant it is. But 2 years ago, I became much more aware about what it is. As since that time, I've been trying to learn about it. Anyway, I have the opportunity. I now finally decided this time I want to learn it.
Your audio is not good, Mr. Muhammad.
Okay. I'm going to. I'll switch to.
I don't know if you can use a earpiece.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, this is better.
Okay. So about 4 years ago, when I hear about PMP, I don't bother myself to even think about what it means or important. I just see it as another. I just see it as another big English. But like 2 years ago, I've been trying to learn more about it. If I hear that there's any training that has to do with PMP, all this introductory training, I try to join and see what they are saying. Then late last year, when I heard the news about this bridge, the name is even difficult to call, maybe Kalakuta Bridge. Then I now understand it deeply.
Toluteka Bridge.
Tuluteka Bridge. I now understand the importance deeply. Then I start relating it to my own business. And I now have resolution that before I even additional business idea, I have to equip myself with project management skill. Because if I have had the skill since my many years experience in the game of business, I have a better position my business better. So my expectation is high from this training.
So what is project management? You have still not answered that question.
Okay. Well, what I understand by project management is managing your project, managing the stakeholders around it, managing the time, the cost element, and making sure that quality is met. That is what I understand by project management.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad. Okay, Madam Ajayi Olubumi, over to you. When you hear project management, what comes to your mind? What's project management?
What comes to my mind is getting.
No. I know. I've taken your response. I'm talking
Okay.
to Madam Olubumi.
Okay.
Madam Olubumi, are you with us or you're in the kitchen? Madam Olubumi, are you with us? Okay, it seems like we have lost Madam Olubumi. She's somewhere doing something. Or maybe our audio or internet, I don't know. Anyway, Madam Oluseyi, Olukomi, oh yeah, let's hear from you.
Okay. Project management is I mean, a set of activities or processes to deliver a project, to deliver a predefined deliverable. And it is important because there are always aspects that need to be controlled.
Okay. Okay. Can you please translate your response into English so that we can
Into
understand?
English.
Yes, it's sounding too technical. Can you translate it into English language?
Okay, so project management, let me try and simplify. Project management covers or is a description of processes or activities that you deploy to to get the right results in the delivery of a predefined deliverable. So it means that you know the end, and then there are sets of processes or activities that you deploy to be able to deliver that end within a time frame. So it has there is a start date and an end date.
Okay.
So there are processes, there are activities that you deploy to be able to deliver. There is an end in mind. So the whole process is what is referred to as project management.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you very much. Okay. Madam Olubumi, are you now with us? We lost you for kitchen matters earlier. Okay, seems like we are still in the kitchen. Okay, thank you very much. We've been able to hear the simple English aspect of project management. We have also been able to hear the spaceship version English, the NASA neuroscience, space science explanation of project management. Okay, the middle course here is okay. But don't let me even tell you the middle course. Let me ask another question. Mr. Mohammed, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I can't hear you well.
Can you hear me now?
No, you are sounding distant.
Okay. Can you hear me clearly now?
Sorry, it's very important that your audio is good though, because I don't teach, I don't lecture. I can't just come and be pointing things down. 30% of the class is going to be your own voice, so forget about it. You must be ready to do a lot of talking. So you can't just sit down and be watching video. If you want to watch video, go to YouTube. Are you with us, Mr. Muhammad? Let me hear your voice loud and clear. It's not clear. You are too far from the mic.
Can you hear me clearly
I can
now?
hear you better now. It's better now. Okay, so now, Mr. Muhammad, at least you've been able to give us a, you can call it like over the top overview of some of what project management is. Now, my question is, what are you doing in this class? Are you actually learning project management, Why are you learning project management, Mr. Muhammad? Over to you.
Okay, well, I'm learning project management to be able to manage anything
Sorry,
I
what
do.
did you do earlier that your audio was far clearer? Are you sure you don't want to do that thing again?
Okay, I was using my phone then. Okay, I will
Okay.
switch back to my phone now. I'll switch back to my phone now in a couple of minutes.
I can hear you, but it can be louder. It can be louder. That your
Okay,
mic that you are holding is not working. Because if it is
okay,
working, it will have been louder. If you're actually using a mic, then it should be louder.
okay. I will switch to the new device very soon.
All right, continue. I can continue to
Okay,
manage.
okay. So why I'm learning project management is to enable me better manage anything I do, to manage it better, using beyond average approach, because when we invest average level approach we get average results, so that and that does not apply to business only, even my personal life, because I've seen that everything is followed by 1, 2, 3, 4 processes, and if all those in every stage can be properly managed, one will get better results. It's basically doing more with less. That is why I'm learning project management. Then of course, I also have plans in going deeper in my consulting field and managing a lot of clients' projects. I also need the necessary skill and certification to enhance the achievement of that objective. So it's a multi-purpose objective.
Hmm. Interesting. Thank you very much. Madam Olubumi, are you now with us? Hello, Madam Olubumi, are you now with us? Okay. No, you are not. Okay. So, Mr. Mohammed, let me ask you the follow-up question to that question. And it is that you have given us why you want to learn project management. But why do you want to learn project management? Let me explain my second why. The second why is different from the first why. The first one is why. This one is why. This one is why do you want to learn project management? You have been managing projects for years. Is something missing? Are you telling me you've not been managing projects before now? Or is it because you think you have that impression that you have been failing before now? Or what exactly is the why in relation to your already having been managing projects? So, over to you, Mr. Muhammad.
Okay, can you hear me clearer now?
No, I can't hear you clearer. Just continue.
Okay, the why I want to learn, the second why is because even though I'm already managing projects, I believe, or let me say it's normal, that there is a difference between a born salesman.
Sorry, it's normal what? I didn't hear that part.
As in, there's a normal, there is normal, there's a normal, is a, how will I put it? Okay, let me just say there's a difference between a born salesman and a professional salesman. The same way somebody can say, I've been doing this thing for the past 10 years without going through any professional training about it, which means he has been doing the same thing for 10 years. But even PMP itself is something that is dynamic. The training itself is dynamic. Now to talk of somebody now using 1 year experience 10 times. So I believe even though I've been managing projects before and I've been getting some level of results, if I can now learn it formally, properly, of course, very good teachers in the university. So the fact that I have the first degree does not even suffice. The fact that I also did a lot of training online does not suffice. So I believe learning it properly will enable me get more results from all my inputs. Then of course, having that PMP under my name is also something that is very key. Let me put it, is very key. Especially when it's not an audio PMP.
Wait, I just learned a new terminology. Audio PMP. Where was that one again? Mr. Mohammed, let's be audio PMP. Here you go explain.
Until we go to PMP site and confirm.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Madam Oluwaseyi, let's throw in some thoughts. Let's hear from you too for this.
Yes, sir. What do you want to hear from me, sir?
Yes, the first question is why. The second question is why are you doing project management? So the first one asks about why are you doing project management. The second one says, yes, that's the first question. Then the next question says that you've been managing projects before now. You have been leading teams. You have been doing these things. Are you saying you've not been successful? Because usually that second question is like a corollary to the first one, because when people say they want to learn project management because they want to be successful with projects, then the question is, you've been successful before now. So what exactly do you seek? So over to you, Madam Oluwaseyi.
Okay, so the first question on the why. So when we were talking about what is project management, we had talked about the aspects that how do I put it now? There are contexts in which the unique deliverable will be executed, that needs to be properly managed, that needs to be structured, that needs to be defined, that cannot be left to chance. Otherwise, there will be chaos. So that's one of the reasons of project management, to bring structure to the delivery of the deliverable that has been identified. Then
yes, I'm following. Oh yeah, you're not done. Are you done, Madam Oluwaseyi? Madam Oluwaseyi, are you done? Is it safe to assume you are done? All right.
Mute by itself. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you
Hello?
now. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I don't know where I trailed off. I just noticed that you couldn't hear me. So I said resources are scarce.
Yes. Okay, I'm listening.
Yes. The need to structure the approach and the execution is also the reason why we manage projects.
Okay. Structured
so
approach and execution.
Yes. So as to why, well, I have been working on projects in the past, but the reason why
19 years, let me say it for you.
I don't know about 19 years, but the reason why it has become expedient to understand project management is because so a good number of what are done in the past, yes, maybe there has been results, but it's not because they were how do I put it? God's feel is part of it, so there is a need to have a framework that works anywhere
that works. Interesting. I like that
anywhere
contrast.
irrespective of where, irrespective of what.
Okay.
So I think that's what project management offers. It's universal, and whatever it is, the principles apply and they work. Unlike managing projects, but this is how I do my own. That is how. So there is a that's the second why for me.
Thank you, 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 thank you very much. Treat the super fundamental stuffs. I still have more questions, but we're out of time. I don't want us to use today to spend the whole of today doing introduction to the introduction. Madam Olubumi, are you now back? Okay. I was very busy in the kitchen now. Okay. All right. So now we know what project management is, and we understand why we've been doing project management. Okay. Now, and Mr. Muhammad, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Clearly, right?
Yes, yes. At least in comparison, when you compare to the previous one, this is clearer.
Okay, interesting. I'm here.
So, my question is that what is the difference between how do you confront somebody saying you're running project management is common sense? How would you reply such a person? Or maybe I should first of all ask that, do you agree? Then if you agree, that's another discussion. If you don't agree, okay, how do you explain to the person what you think is correct?
Well, of course, I agree that project management, to me, I see project management as a unique knowledge that if you don't have it, you don't have it. And so there is far difference between somebody that understands project management and the person that doesn't understand it. So if I see somebody that now said it's a lie, it's not possible, based on it's not correct, now I will look at the person's level and now look for something that the person can understand to explain to the person, so that I don't take it too complex for the person. I will use something that is similar to that person's level to explain why project management is very necessary, and just use one aspect of the project management, either in terms of the time, or is it in terms of quality, or in terms of cost, so that the person, because another thing I say about project management is that it's something that we need to create a lot of awareness about, because a lot of organizations, a lot of individuals, a lot of family are even suffering just because they don't understand the concept of project management. Because even marriage itself, and what I can, for example, I can decide that normally what is expected is for somebody to take each child as a project and say, okay, I want my first child to become XYZ. I want to now plan it as a project and start working on it. That does not mean everything will work as planned, but there are high tendency that child will move close to achieving that objective than when there is no plan. Especially when you're in a place like Nigeria, where everything looks unstructured.
Wait, it's not allowed to abuse our fatherland in class, please. Thank you. Proceed.
Okay. Okay. Especially when you are in a situation where, okay, before now, because in the last 10 years, everything in the last 100 years, things are more predictable. But look at what happened in the last 5 years. In fact, in the last 2 years, things are less predictable. And that is why project management is even much more important than ever before. So that's my answer to the question.
You have said so much, but I'm struggling to get a hold of your answer.
Okay, he said that if somebody said that project management is a lie, I'll tell the person it's not a lie.
Project management is common sense.
Okay, if somebody said project management is common sense, I will explain to the person why it is not common sense. And when the issue here is
meaning
that
you have the opinion that it is not common sense.
No, it depends on the perspective you are looking at it from. A lot of things are common sense that people don't do, but they are common sense.
Okay.
Because it's common sense, for example, now that you give somebody a project, you tell the person, maybe a carpenter, I want this delivered 4 o'clock. This is how much I'm going to pay, and this is what I want you to do, the type of furniture I want. It's common sense. But sometimes people will give somebody money, maybe your friend that is a carpenter, without going into detail of what exactly you want, which means you don't even follow the common sense. It's common sense that when you borrow somebody the money, you write it down. But if you don't write it down, how do you prove it? So a lot of things are common sense that we don't follow. So it depends on the context and the person that is talking also. That is to me. But of course, because of this class, we will learn more about how to handle this type of answer since I'm a newbie.
You seem to always want to refine your responses back to depending on who is talking. Depending on who is talking. Okay, that's good. Aha, oh God, we're only 3 in class. So all of you be feeling the heat. No. Madam Olubumi has run away already. So, Madam Oluwaseyi, over to you.
Okay,
Mr.
so
Mohamed's response was he hit the nail on the side of the head. He did not hit it in the middle. Bow. So yeah, let's hear your own response. Project management is, imagine if maybe a colleague in work saying, do you need to go to a particular class for them to teach you that you should manage costs? Do you need to go to a particular class for them to teach you that you should manage procurement? You understand? So these things are all common sense. Okay, how do you answer such a person?
So to anyone that says that project management is common sense, the person is not it's not a lie, it's not just a complete truth.
It's not a lie. It's not just a complete truth. Okay. Yeah, proceed. Let's hear.
Project management, in my opinion, in my assessment, is common sense plus. So common sense is part of it, but it's much more than that. There is a need for systems. Otherwise, there will be no, how do you put it? There will be no. I'm looking for the right word now. There is a need for systems. Otherwise, you would find that there are no standards. You will look at the case and, okay, basis how this one is, this is what it is. Basis how that is, this is how it is, and all of that. So it is common sense, yes, but it's much more than that. There is a need to have a framework that makes the common sense sensible. Let me put it like that. That makes the common sense to show.
There needs to be a framework that makes the common sense to show. You have said a very correct one. You have said it, in fact, in a very superb way. You have said it in a very, very good way. Yes. Beautiful. All right. I like the way, I like your approach. It's similar to Mr. Muhammad's approach. Because sometimes some people, when they answer this question, in their rush to protect project management, they distance it away from common sense. And I think from the response both of you give, you have been able to balance this. Oh, wait. It's not too far from saying it's common sense. But you can't just say it's common sense. And then somebody is saying it depends on whose sense you are calling common. It depends on whose sense you are calling common. Because to some people, what is right is common sense. To some people, what is wrong is common sense. So common sense is not common. There is no general standard called common sense. Well, let me say I'm not aware of any general standard of common sense. What is common sense among the Nigerians might not be common sense among the Americans.
Elsewhere.
What is common sense among the Yorubas might not be common sense among the Igbos. So that's the reason why we can't just allow our lives to be run by unstructured common sense. And that is the reason why Mr. Muhammad there in Port Harcourt, he has his own form of common sense. He has been managing projects for 92 years. He has so much of experience. Okay, Madam Aisha is there in Lagos. She has been managing projects for 500 years. She has her own pack of common sense. Madam Olubumi is somewhere in Abuja or wherever. She also has her own pack of common sense. She has been managing projects for 1,000 years. Then there is a Mr. John in Australia. He has his own pack of common sense. There is a Bob Marley in Jamaica with his own pack of common sense. Somebody in Brazil with pack of common sense. Somebody in Netherlands with 35 years experience, common sense. Now, imagine if all these people now come together, pulling together the various common senses and say, oh, yes, they are pulling together their various common senses. So, oh, this is how you do it in Brazil. Oh, interesting. I also do it in a very similar way. The difference is just that in my own case, I do blah, blah, blah. And then you find that Muhammad does say, interesting. Out of the 6 steps you are using, 4 of them is similar to what I use. The remaining 2, it's a bit difficult. You might not be able to walk everywhere. It's peculiar to your own country, blah, blah, blah. And then they pull from different directions and now come together and agree on some set of principles. To say, we agree that it is practically impossible for us to come up with something that will be usable exactly as it is everywhere in the world. It will be difficult because of the peculiarities of how things are across the world. It is almost impossible to have what we can call something that will be common to everybody. But we can have a lot of intersection to now say, okay, these are some generic principles. Whether you're in the medical industry, whether you're in construction, whether you're in IT, whether you are in hospitality, whether you are in wherever you are, these sets of generic principles work for you, everybody. So the goal is, can we have a structured set of fundamentals such that it is from there that you can now start, I don't want to use the word modifying, customizing. So Madam Oluwaseyi Aisha, initially she had 6 things she was using to manage her projects. Then she went for this particular conference that brought together project managers from all over the world. And then they realized that no, you shouldn't be using 6, so you should be using 14. And out of the 14 that are general, it intersects with 4 out of our own 6. So she still retains her 6, and then she now adds how many on top? She adds 8 on top. Here you get. So the whole idea is generic principles, such that at any point in time that any one of us wants to manage a project, you are not starting from scratch. You are not thinking off ground zero. You want to do this thing, there's a framework to handle it. You want to do this thing, there's a framework to handle it. You want to set up a team, there's a framework to handle it. Okay, you are faced with office insubordination, there's a framework to handle it. Okay, you want to manage scope for a project. There's a framework to handle it. Okay, you want to do procurement. There's a framework to handle it. There's a framework. And all these things you are talking about are not just things by moonlight. There are things that professionals all around the world have come together to agree and say this is a set of generic principles of how to get this thing done. So, would you be able to use these principles exactly as it is? It depends. It depends. As much as these principles are generic and fit most situations, there will be cases in which you would have to localize, enhance, modify, fortify to be able to meet your own circumstance. Yeah, I think we've been able to explain that one. Question so far. Madam Olubumi, we've not heard from you. Even if you are busy, just unmute and tell us that you are still there. Okay, thank you very much. I think we've been able to, at least, if you understand all what we have been saying, you have been able to understand the super fundamentals of the why of project management. I explained earlier, the syllabus we are using, the new syllabus, does not go into the details of explaining principles from scratch. So what we will do here is that before we jump into discussing the content of the syllabus, we'll brush through some of these things. All the content we have in this slide are already in the videos that you have access to or that you will be getting access to. So we'll be giving you a reading schedule. It's not, we don't have it fully spelled out yet. So pardon us, we just started training with the new syllabus. So even ourselves, so we don't have everything clearly spelled out yet, as in some things are still, undefined. We're just trying to define on the go, progressive elaboration. So, so pardon us if you see some small shaky things in the way we are handling mappers. But like I said, you'll be given access to videos. We'll rush through these fundamentals in class, but you're expected to go through the videos. We'll give you a schedule with which you're supposed to go through the videos. But like I said, don't worry, we won't load you too much. We don't expect you to put in more than 2 hours per day, max, all things being equal. So let's discuss project management. What's project management? I've introduced myself. Ibrahim, I build data solutions for organizations to improve efficiency, cut wastes, enhance performance using information technology. That's what I do. That's the core. I just do this by the side, but my core stuff is building IT solutions for organizations. So there's this code that says if you're on the right track, you will get run over if you sit there. Essentially, what this means is that the core of project management sits in your being able to have a good idea of what you want to do and then start doing what you want to do. And as you are doing it, be measuring that you are actually doing what you want to do. So you don't just say, yes, I'm doing what I want to do, and you don't keep measuring. You have to keep measuring, even if you are doing the right things. You don't just sit there and just do it in a rough way. You have to keep controlling what you are doing, measuring what you are doing to confirm that you're actually doing it the right way. So generically, we all do projects one way or the other, except we want to be deceiving ourselves. We all do projects in different forms. So the fundamentals of managing a project from start to finish require a team of different skill sets. Definitely, you are not dealing with only one person. You are dealing with multiple people. If you have a team, it's not only one tree that is called the forest. Okay. There's not only one tree that is called the forest. You probably have to engage this, engage this, engage this. You have different people coming on board the team with different skill sets to be able to, play their role. So when we say project management, there are like 10 different points that sit at the core of project management. The first is taming chaos. When you say chaos, what do we mean? When you talk of projects, because we are not God, we would always run into issues. We would always, opposing different things. People not meeting their requirements, people not meeting their commitments. So many issues will be coming up. And project management is there to tame the chaos, not the use of the word tame. You cannot eliminate chaos. The best you can do is to tame it. So we'll explain this in the videos. We'll have to watch it. The managing risk. Risk is uncertainty. So the goal of project management, one of the key goals of project management is to be able to help you in managing uncertainty on the project. So as you are trying to manage your risks, as you are trying to manage your threats, threats are negative, what do you call it? Risks, positive. So when it is negative, it's called threat. When it's positive, it's called opportunity. You want to manage your opportunities such that you attract as many as possible of them. And you want to manage your threats such that you repel as much of it as possible. You're also managing quality. Essentially, what you are doing here is you are putting a lot on board to ensure that you're able to deliver what is exactly as those who own the work have specified. So quality in this case is not what we normally call quality in English language. Quality in English language is like grade. That's the word they call it. It's like grade, quality, grade. So, but here, quality means something else. If you are supposed to do, if you're supposed to produce like a China phone, a low quality China phone, that word quality in quotes. So if you're able to produce exactly as you were told, you have produced something of high quality. But when you're now comparing that phone to another Samsung, it can now said to be of what? Of low grade. But if you're able to produce what you were told to produce, then you have achieved high quality. Then you have managing integration. What do we mean when we say managing integration? Your role as a project manager essentially is in preventing chaos, managing all the various moving parts. In fact, not even moving parts, moving and static parts on the project. Because when you're managing a project, a lot of things are related. A lot of like a watch. You have gears spinning. You want to manage each gear individually, and you want to manage all the various gears together as a collection to be able to understand, to be able to manage how they are related. Because you understand that if you have a collection of gears, it is such that if one of those gears is... So you as a project manager, you want to be on top of so many things to ensure that all the various moving parts are moving, all the static parts are static, and all those things individually they are fine, and then in relation to as in relation to all the other parts that they are interconnected, all of those things are also fine. Okay. Managing change, that's a big one. When you're managing a project, you have to manage change. Because don't forget that a project is usually brought into existence because you want to change something. You don't do projects if you're not changing something. Something is about to change. And in fact, apart from that thing that is changing, you'll be altering so much. And that's the reason why you as a project manager need to change, how to manage change in whatever you do. Clearing issues. As a project manager, you go clear issue, your head you go tire. There will always be cases of some suppliers defaulting. There will always be cases of even team members fumbling. There will be cases of equipment breakdown. There will be cases of interference from something, government policy, blah, blah, blah. You just be chasing issues as a project manager. So you should be able to have a system in place to be able to manage these issues professionally, without now becoming an issue manager, such that you now leave your core role and then you allow issues to now take over your whole existence. So retaining and using knowledge, that's a very important one. Retaining and using knowledge is a very important one. Why do we regard it as important? It is simply because part of properly managing a project, part of properly managing a project is that you want to leverage on existing knowledge as much as possible. You want to leverage. Project managers are lazy people. Lazy in quotes, not the normal laziness that we talk about. Lazy in the sense that we hate to reinvent the wheel. If somebody has reinvented the wheel, at best we will reform. At best we will enhance. But to now reinvent the wheel when somebody else has done the wheel, no, we wouldn't. Because we place a lot of premium on being able to reuse knowledge. We place a lot of premium on being able to, yes, reuse knowledge. So you are also maximizing resources and you are controlling costs. When you hear maximizing resources, it's not a small thing. One of the major reasons why people come into project management is, maybe when they are told that, okay, how do I put it? So when you have resources, if there were to be unlimited resources, there wouldn't be any need for project management. The reason why we are managing projects is that we don't have unlimited resources. Okay, Mr. Mohammed, yeah, tell us, out of what I've said, what do you remember about project management?
Okay. Firstly is that I don't follow. Firstly is that project management is about managing, taming cows or kiosks. Second one is about managing change. Then third one, okay, managing change, managing, taming kiosks, then managing vendor, managing supplier, and things that has to do with project management generally.
Thank you very much. You have tried. Okay. Project managers are the most creative professionals in the world. They have to figure out things before that could go wrong before it goes wrong. This goes to the core of proactivity. I explained this in the videos. This is another interesting one that you probably want to read. It's 10 past. Okay. Let's go on short break. Stretch our legs, stretch our hands, take water, jump up, just sleep off our eyes. 10 minutes. That's around 22 minutes past 9. So our break starts now.
Lovely. Wonderful.
All right. Grand. Hello, Ugole. You're muted, Oga Muhammad. Who did you? Madam
Yeah.
Olubumi. You surprised me, and I saw you just run away from class. Madam Olusha, are we together now?
I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
Solid. Yes, this is the last lap for today. We are together for another 1 hour. Interesting. This last 1 hour, Kai. That's the 1 hour in which people are usually tired. So I hope you're able to do some jumping. Hmm? Not everybody's like machine like Mr. Mohammed. Now I can sit down for the next 2 days.
Jumping will make you sleep faster.
You said what?
I said jumping will make the sleep faster.
Faster.
Because by the time you now sit down,
you have exhausted the energy.
The body will now silate and then eyes will close.
Maybe you should use Formula Nescafe then. Whatever works for you.
It's okay. My eyes are still wide open.
Thank you very much. I welcome you back. Beautiful. I trust you. No, maybe it's you. You that you can read till 4 a.m. Maybe it's you.
I know.
So we are still on this our journey to do introduction to the introduction. And I realize that I've been over explaining. We have like 100 slides to cover in 2 hours. We'll do part of these introductory slides today. We'll do the remaining parts tomorrow in next class. Then we jump into the cocoa of cocoa. Okay? So these are the essential soft skills of a project manager. There are so many of them. You're expected to have a very good understanding of each of them to be able to perform excellently well as a project manager. So the PMI certification is the most prestigious project management certification in the world. There are almost 1 million PMP certification holders all over the world. So the purpose of this training is for you to be able to have 35 hours of project management education, and then more importantly, get some tips and tricks to be able to blast the PMP exam. Okay, so to write the PMP exam, you need to have either a 4-year degree plus 4,500 hours, or they change 4,500 hours to 36 months. 36 months of project management experience. If you don't have a 4-year degree, you can also use a 2-year diploma or a 2-year degree. But in this case now, you need to have how many months? 48. No, it's not 48. It's not 48. Yeah, I can't remember the number of months, but it's just 7,500 hours. So, and then once you have your PMP, you have to renew every 3 years. And unlike some other exams, in this case now, you don't have to rewrite the exam when you want to renew. So in the span of those 3 years, it is expected that you will have been accumulating some things they call PDUs, professional development units. Professional development units. So for example, for Madam Oluwaseyi, this class for her is supposed to help her accumulate 35 units, PDUs. So the exam used to be 200 questions, now it's 180. To write the exam, $555, but you will join PMI with $139. And if you're a member of PMI, the exam comes down to $405. So that's that. This has changed. This has changed. Okay. So that's the introduction. Um, okay. Hey, let me explain something important.
I have a question, sir, before you
In
go
box 6. Yes, please. Please proceed.
on. The exam. So you mentioned that it's changed from 200 to 180, but I still see a
Yeah.
break by initiating and all the processes. Is that still the case?
No.
Okay,
You know, I
clear.
mentioned earlier that I'm using the slides for the old
Okay,
syllabus
for more like for
to
pre,
explain
okay,
the
for foundational, yeah,
introductory parts.
yeah, clear.
Yes, that was not explained in their own slides. That's why I'm
That's clear,
rushing
sir.
through. It's not like this is
Okay,
normally part of the class. But I don't want to
okay,
just jump into their own content. And another thing I realized is it's kind of easier to it adds to the knowledge that you have an idea of how the last syllabus used to call their names. It will help you understand the new one a lot better. Okay, so in explaining this slide, I usually want to go to a fundamental principle. Mr. Mohammed, can you kindly read this?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Okay. What this I should do?
Read what is on the screen.
Nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into smaller jobs and effort.
Beautiful. Nothing is particularly hard. Nothing, absolutely nothing is particularly hard if you can divide it into small jobs. Nothing is particularly hard. Whatever you want to do, and that's one of the first and fundamental principles you want to take out of this class. The first one, okay, nothing is particularly hard. Never approach what you want to do as one big thing. Always break things down. Why? Simply because when you have things broken down, you can easily overcome smaller bits of things than trying to approach a gargantuan task. So that same principle that we can use in our daily lives or that we are already using in our daily lives can also be used to understand um, can also be used to understand project management. Whatever you want to do, break it down. So if you want to manage a project, break it down. So what are the various components of what you call project management? What are the various components of what you call project management? So the answer here is that when you are doing one thing, there is no one single thing that you'll be doing that once you are doing it, it is called managing a project. There is no one single thing. So many things are interrelated. And that's the same reason that um, okay, because of time, let me stop that story. The point I'm trying to raise is all of these things, when you are managing a project, you are not doing one thing. You are actually carrying out a number of related different things. Different things. Yes. So, managing a project, let us approach it from the small bits of work that you need to get done. Now, that now takes us to the fundamental principle of what we call a process. Please understand that I'm still explaining what used to be. We will still get to explain what is current. So in what used to be, we had a concept called process. What is or what are processes? A process essentially is a set of instructions, or no, a set of tasks that are being coordinated centrally somewhere, and a set of tasks that have a common goal. That's what the process is. A set of tasks that come together because they have a common goal. Now, according to PMI, Pinbook 9, we used to have something called your initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. We used to have all of that. Okay. Now, don't forget I said what a process is. A process is essentially a set of different tasks. A set of different tasks coming together to, a set of different tasks coming together that have a defined kind of thing they're trying to do. So different tasks, they have similar tasks to achieve something. Now, in the name of managing a project, there are so many of all these similar that you necessarily need to get done for you to be able to say, okay, I am managing a project. So those processes that you do at the beginning of a project when you are initiating, they are called initiating processes. The ones you do when you are planning are called planning processes. The ones you do when you are monitoring and controlling is called, when you are executing, they are called executing processes. The ones you do when you are monitoring and controlling are called M&C processes. And the ones you do when you want to finally close the projects, those ones are called closing processes. Okay? And you can also see from here that all those processes as you have here is not particularly sequential. You cannot say they are sequential. So I'm just rushing through these things. You have more explanation in the videos. But there's a reason for explaining the fundamental principle of a process. Because even when we get to the new syllabus, you just have to understand these things. Okay? Now, it is the same. Okay, according to PMI is now saying that by the time you look at all the processes, you realize that some of them fall into different categories. Some of them fall into different categories. Now, if you are categorizing the processes according to process groups, that is the groups in which the processes belong to, from here now, you can identify some groups. Mr. Muhammad, how many groups do you see here on this screen?
I can see 5.
What are
Can you hear me? Okay, we have initiating process. We have initiating process, planning process,
okay,
closing process, execution process. But there is one at the top that we have monitoring and controlling processes.
Okay. Makes sense. Now, according to PMI, for the current Pinbook 6, there are 46 of the various processes that you have just read now. There are 46 of them. Okay. There are 49. It used to be 47, then it became 49, according to PMI, Pinbook 6. Those 49 can now be grouped in 2 ways. The first is to group them according to what you see on the screen right now. The second is to group them according to what used to be called knowledge areas. So, Mr. Muhammad, usually, I have like a small class assignment. People are reading this. So, Madam Uluwaseyi, you two, you are there. Let me give you 2 minutes to look at this screen. Let's see which of them will you remember without checking anywhere. Sure, you heard that, Mr. Mohammed. You have 2 minutes, 120 seconds. Your time starts now. All right. So we are back now. So, Gamma, let's start from you. Which one do you remember? Number 1. Quickly, quickly, quickly. You are muted.
Okay. Risk,
Mm-hmm.
stakeholder,
Mm-hmm.
procurement,
Mm-hmm.
integration management,
Mm-hmm.
schedule,
Mm-hmm.
scope,
You have said scope now.
resources. Okay,
Uh-huh.
resources, cost,
Uh-huh.
and schedule.
Uh-huh.
Quality.
I thought you have said schedule. Quality, yes.
Okay. I actually use the format to cram it. Okay, risk, stakeholder, procurement,
3,
integration,
4,
cost,
5,
schedule,
6,
quality.
7.
That's what I can remember.
Okay, you have tried. You have tried. Madam Olubumi, are you with us now? Okay, no, you are not. Madam Oluwaseyi Alpha.
Fine, sir. Okay.
You should know 12.
As you know,
you should get 12 over 10.
12 Abi. Okay, so project scope management,
1,
project risk management,
2,
project schedule management,
3,
project communication management,
4,
project cost management,
5,
project quality management,
6,
project resources management,
7,
project procurement management,
8,
project integration management.
9,
There's one more.
Rally.
Sorry?
How many you?
Oh,
said
what?
quality, have you said communication, have you said stakeholder, have you said
Yes.
risk?
Yes.
Okay.
So stakeholder is the last one.
All right.
So I go over it again.
Okay.
Scope, risk, schedule, communication, cost, quality, resources, procurement, integration, stakeholder.
Okay. Okay. That's fine, actually. Okay, so that's that. essentially, it is still the same 49 processes that are now sprinkled into 9 different places that you have, That's that. Okay. Somebody was trying to explain this graph to us at some point. Who was the person? Mr. Mohammed, what do you notice?
I can see here that the initial, some of the last slide,
Okay.
like was further demystified, but I'm still trying to understand the demystification.
How?
I'm just trying to read it thoroughly. I'm just trying to read it thoroughly to understand how it was broken down.
Okay.
As a newbie in this game.
Okay. Okay. Madam Luashe, yeah, help us.
Okay, so it's a matrix of both the knowledge areas and the process areas. And this is actually the breakdown of the 49 processes you had mentioned earlier.
Okay.
So this shows all the activities or the processes that happen in each of the knowledge area by their phases. So integration happens to be the only knowledge area that have processes in all, that have activities in all 5 process areas.
Okay.
And you will also notice that planning has also the most processes are cutting across all the knowledge areas, because it's almost like the bedrock of project management is that your execution can only be as good as your plan.
I'm still waiting.
What again? I said, do you want me to repeat what I said?
No, I asked a follow-up question. Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure, because you are only going to execute based on your plan. So if the plan is not a good plan, it will also impact on what you execute, because you will only execute what you have planned. And monitoring and control also is also very similar to planning, in that it has a lot of processes, because I think in one you had made mention of how did you put it? You said something about.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yes, I was trying to recall how you put it when you were talking the other time. Something about
Okay.
I can't remember, but
Something
the
about
sense
what? Something
behind it,
about what?
I can't remember exactly how you put it. But what I'm trying to say is to explain the fact that, okay, monitoring and control also, you said something about you check what you are doing. You remember, I can't remember exactly how you put it, but that was the sense behind it, that you keep checking what you are doing to be sure you are doing what you should do well, something like that. You had mentioned it earlier in the evening.
Okay.
So let me see what again.
Anyway, thank you very much. You have tried. And I would really appreciate if you can take out some time. Don't worry, we'll send you a reading schedule. You can take out
Okay.
some time and understand this table. This is like a matrix diagram showing the national W's, national roadside NURC report, and the vertical side, which is the knowledge area people. So that's that. The concept of tailoring. And I'm sure you remember tailoring very well. The concept of tailoring here is that
Yeah,
project
so it's
management is a huge world on its own. And this is one. Okay, I'm listening.
okay. So just
Madam
to
Mashi.
throw, yes, just to throw in that just like the EDA tailoring, it's almost like you're cutting, you're making a cloth to a particular dimension or size. So in the same way,
Yes.
all projects are unique and different. So the processes that will be employed, inputs and tools that will go into a particular project must must be fit for that project, something like that.
Mm. Okay.
So you may not need all 49 processes, for example, but depending on the kind of projects that you're working on. So, but it must be tailor made to that kind of projects.
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. So you have just explained beautifully what is meant by tailoring. So essentially, it's just a way of cutting your coat according to your clothes.
Hmm.
Hmm? So that's one analogy I like to use when I'm explaining tailoring. Ah, we're out of time. So everybody gets punched. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. That's a common quote from my uh, project and environment. Can I read this up? Okay. No. Let's just discuss this one briefly. We have barely 30 minutes left for class. Okay. Project and environment. This slide is trying to stretch. Why? No. Okay. So when a project does not start well, definitely you cannot be expecting it to end well. So now let's discuss the project. Mr. Muhammad, when you were answering one of your early questions, you made an issue about CTT timing. Hmm? So now we want to understand the difference between. We want to understand what is even called project. What is a project? Mr. Muhammad, did I help us? I did that. What's a project?
Okay. From my head or from what is on the slide?
No, read it on the slide.
Okay. A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result.
Beautiful. Now, yeah, read this.
The second one.
Oh, yeah, read what you have on the slide now.
Okay, characteristics of a project has a specific purpose, create specific and unique results,
Okay.
has a definite start and finish date, is temporary, could be progressively elaborated as more is learned about the project details.
Okay.
But I'll need more light to be shared on that last part though.
Okay. On the concept of progressive elaboration, I mean?
Yes.
We'd explain. Madam Olubumi, are you with us? Are you there? Hello, Madam Olubumi. All right. So, Mr. Mohammed, sure you have seen this, Abi?
Yes.
Now let me get back here. I just want you to understand a project exactly. So a project, for something to be called a project, it needs to meet some criteria. Number one is that you need to have what you want to do, a clear focus. It's very important. And then you should be able to select, or it should just give you the days that you have available. So you should have specific results. What is a specific result now? What you are saying is the result that is unambiguous. So in this case now, when you are managing a project, they want you to plan ahead such that okay. Let me go back to the first definition here. A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. From what you see here, a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or results. So that's the general understanding of it. But now, what is a program? A program is when you have different projects that you want to manage them together to achieve some benefits that you couldn't achieve before. For example, when you have multiple cases of anything, even drowning or something. So a program is when you have different projects that have different check-ins at different times of the day, like a meeting. So you can now form a program. In this case now, a program is okay. In this case now, let me see. A program, Mr. Mohammed, do you understand that?
I understand
what
that.
kind of benefits comes to your head for you to manage two different projects together as a program? What benefits come to your head?
One of those benefits, of course, one we have some level of economic of scale. Then, of course, when I say economic of scale, it has to do with cost. The second is that it makes things much more integrated, because some projects can be a byproduct of a project, can be a raw material for the next project.
Yes.
In some cases, while in some cases it can be complementary. And yes, at least those are the key elements of running 2 projects, 3 projects at once, even though it has its own downside of making things much bigger. But of course, since the core of project management is to tame distraction, or tame chaos or chaos, no matter how they call them, that will actually be managed. So it has a lot of benefits, which means one need to be a good project manager before, that is a singular project manager, before one can now start managing multiple projects, which is like from simple to complex, even though it has its own benefit of when you do things in volume, it makes it much more seamless.
It makes it much more seamless. Okay. Thank you very much. Under Maisha, yeah, tell us.
Sir?
Yes, we are trying to justify program. Ikwe, what exactly are the possible benefits for you to want to bring a project or bring projects together as a program?
So I'm not sure I have anything to add to what he has said. He's talked about economies of scale.
Okay.
Yeah, largely around
that's fine.
Cost management.
Economy of scale.
because largely that is the gain that I see. And then the truth is that you also could gain time as a resource, because you could run some activities in parallel.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
Hello?
Makes sense. Hello, I said makes sense.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Beautiful. So those are just some initial things that I want to understand. So that's, we done project, we done program. Portfolio now is like multiple projects, multiple programs that you want to manage together. So that's portfolio. Aha. So let's discuss the concept of the triple constraint. Mr. Mohammed, kindly read the screen.
Okay. The triple constraint, cost,
Hello,
that
Mr.
is
Mohammed,
budget.
quickly, please.
Cost,
Okay.
that is budget.
Okay.
Scope, planned results. Schedule, that is time.
Okay.
Please note, all three constants are of equal importance unless otherwise stated.
Okay. The concept of a triple constraint. Thank you very much. Mr. Mohammed,
You're welcome.
the concept of a triple constraint, this is how it works. You are working on a project, and then you realize that that project is 12K. As in, yes, as in you're working on a project now, and something happens, and the cost of that project, the cost of that money is not okay. You have time on one side, cost on one side, and it. Most of the time, when one of these three should cough, it usually causes catarrh for the rest. For example, you're working on a project, and then the cost should double. Now, Mr. Mohammed, what's the implication if the cost doubles? What happens?
Well, if the cost doubles, a lot of things will happen now.
Like,
if the cost doubles, perhaps maybe the scope has changed.
scope has not changed. Scope has not changed.
The cost just double.
Yes. No. You don't get my point. We are just discussing an hypothetical situation.
Okay.
You understand? You want to understand what we call the triple constraint. From what the question I asked you, it's very obvious that if the price should go up, these other people will be impacted one way or the other. For example, if the cost should double and you want to complete the job at the same time that you wanted, you've always been doing it. Now, if cost goes up, what happens to the schedule? What happens to time? Are they related? Mr. Moment.
They can be related depending on the situation. Because if the cost double, the person delivering it, maybe that might even be the reason for the cost to double. That this is express. I'll do it on time.
Beautiful. So you now understand that when one of these triple constraints should cough, the remaining three will pick kata. That's the explanation for that.
Yeah.
Madam Luashe, you remember this how we explain
it? Yes. Yes.
You have a question?
Yeah. No, not a question. It's just that is as you have said, that they are kind of interrelated, and if one changes, it could affect one or both of the other two. So if for example cost goes up and time is the same, scope can suffer.
Exactly. Okay, so this is a depiction of what you have just explained now. Now, the triple constraints, how we got this time. Originally, you had 3. From 3, it became 6 on here. And then from 6 was
No,
pulled
now
out.
6. Yes.
Yes. So in this case now, apart from the normal 3 that we want, they've added more. They've added risk, they've added resources, they've added quality. Yeah, they've added quality. So that's the concept of the triple constraint. We just explained that one for us to have an overview of how it works. Okay. Mr. Mohammed, can you give me an example of a project that was started because of market demand?
Okay, that was started
Started.
or that can I also use something that was further when there was high demand? Because I can't on my head now, I can't remember anyone that was started because of the market demand. But I can remember those ones that started because of increased demand.
Okay.
Okay, I think I can talk about one.
Okay.
When pandemic started, automatically there was extraordinary high demand for hand sanitizer.
Okay.
But the rate of that is not as high as what you have for delivery bikes. Because even before COVID, we have delivery bikes. But if you plot the graph, we have more need for sanitizer than even delivery bike because we have been using delivery bike before. So I think those are 2 examples. One on a high level, there, the other one on a medium or low level of high demand.
Okay. And give us one vivid example now of market demand that drove development of another process.
Come again.
I said, when we are asked, do you know how projects come into being? The answer will be yes.
Okay.
Now, there are different ways. We have initiating, you have market demand, strategic opportunity, social need, environmental, customer request, technology advancement, legal requirements. So each of all these things here, you can think of 1 or 2 different examples. For example, when you say market demand, can you think of a project that came into existence as a result of market demand? I wanted us to go through it, but there's no time. You can watch it in the video.
Okay. Of course, one of those. Okay, so we should not go through it.
Ask your question.
No, I want to answer, but it's like you said, you should not go through it.
Yes. Time.
Okay.
Okay. So now you have project management knowledge cycles, IEE inclusive. So that's what we mean by the life cycle of a project manager. Okay. Okay. So I'm coming. Aha. We'll still discuss a lot of these things, but I'm rushing because I just want us to just touch base on a lot of these principles. Just touch base roughly here and there before we conclude. Now, there's an important thing we need to talk about is the concept of OPAs and EFs. Madam Luashi, Oya, explain OPAs, EFs. Just give us a brief of us understanding of what they are. Hello, Madam Luashi.
Hello, sir.
Oya, now, did you hear my question?
Not very clearly. Something about OPs. Was that what you said?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, you want me to read?
I wanted you to explain to us.
Oh,
well,
okay.
If that's what you want to do, it's fine.
All right. Organize it. Okay. So there are process inputs. So organizational process assets is is OPA. So, and it refers to what we have. So now, these are assets available to the project team. So tying back to what we have, they have two categories. They can be processes and procedures. They are corporate knowledge bases. Don't forget, they are assets available to the project team. So they are internal, owned by the organization. Examples include plans, processes, policies, procedures, lessons learned, because you had mentioned that project management usage of knowledge. So lessons learned, historical information, schedules, risk data, and end value data. On the other hand, enterprise environmental factors, EEF, refers to what is out there. So there are conditions that are not under the control of the team. They include government or industry standards, organization culture, infrastructure, which is facilities and equipment, human resources, marketplace conditions, risk tolerance, politics, communication channels, databases, and PMIs. So one is what is
project management information system. I'm listening.
Project management information system, yes. So the basic difference is OPAs, as the name implies, is the assets of the organization that relates to processes, how things should be done. That's why there are references to procedures and processes, knowledge base, lessons learned, policies, historical information, and the rest. While the other is about which is EEF, is about conditions that are basically out there, out of the control of the project team. So these two are important to reflect to take into consideration when preparing the plan, because they impact the project.
Of course, very important. Of course, it's very important. Okay, Madam Oluwabumi, are you with us now? Mr. Mohammed, are you there?
Yes.
Can you take out some 2-3 minutes to look at this graph? Does it make sense to you? What is it communicating? 2-3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Well, I'm trying to understand the graph, but I understand the English, the keyword on the graph, but the graph, how they connect, I'm still studying it. Influence of stakeholder, amount of stake. Kindly explain. I can't connect the dot fully. Okay. Well, on the aspect of the blue line, amount of stake, I can see that as the progress flows, or as the milestone increases, the level of stake increases. Then,
what do you mean level of stake? You know your level of stake.
Amount at stake.
Amount at stake.
Amount at stake increases as the project flows gradually from the bottom up.
Then, bottom up.
From ground up. Because since definitely a project will start from concept.
Yes. Yeah, land. I want to hear.
A project will start from concept, followed by planning, execution, and closeout.
So is that ground up? Don't just say ground up. Don't bring.
That's what I mean by ground up.
Sorry, it's not by what you mean. It's by what we understand. Yeah, continue.
Okay. Then this red line, influence of stakeholders. That one I can't explain. No. But of course,
Okay.
on the green line, uncertainty of risk, that one I can explain that. Because it's not about you conceptualizing an idea. It's not about you even planning alone. By the time you go deeper, you'll be able to be more assured that this thing is plumbing gradually, is becoming reality gradually. Maybe taking it from, maybe because I'm a startup-oriented person, from the minimum viable perspective of, okay, create a minimum viable product, a minimum viable experiment. The level of say, okay, this thing is improving, it should be there that, okay, we are having milestone. And just like if the foundation is not solid, the project will eventually it will cause an issue in the future, depending on how solid the foundation is. So, and of course, that also explain why the level of uncertainty is reducing as the project moves from concept to planning to execution and closing out.
Okay.
Of course, this on the normal case, unless something unexpected, big thing happen, like what happened to the which is the rare situation, but of course that is captured in project planning. This bridge case, this I can't to call the name of the bridge is this bridge that was constructed. That one is a rare situation.
Okay.
But in a normal situation, this one flows. But the only aspect now is this red that I have not been able to connect the dots properly. The red line, that is the
Yeah.
influence
That signifies what?
of stakeholder.
Okay. Yes. So what happens to it?
I've not been able to phantom understand how that I can't explain it. At least I
The
get
green one
if the green one uncertainty. Of course, that one I just explained that one. That the more the project flow based on the milestone for the project, the level of uncertainty reduces because there is more level of reality is becoming more obvious.
Correct.
Based on the conceptualization, the planning, and the execution flow.
Okay. Makes sense. Thank you very much. Aha. At least we have now gotten to a place I can say we don't need to be afraid.
Can you explain that one? I cannot explain. No. The red line.
Which one? Shade the green one.
Maybe can you go back to the slide?
The red line.
The red line.
Of stakeholders.
Yes.
As you can see now, at what point I'm on the slide. And yeah. Influence of stakeholders. Can you prove why is that it is highest at the beginning of the project?
Okay.
Hello, madam. Talk now.
Oh, sorry, you were talking to me.
Yes, now.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Okay, so the red one, as I said, is the influence of stakeholders. So the influence of stakeholders is highest when the project is just starting out. You also so because there is a need to get
Your network is not good though. I can't hear you.
as to the requirement, there's a need to consult. Okay, is it better? Hello,
yes, it's better
is
now.
it better?
It's
Oh,
better
okay.
now.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So just as you said, the red line is the it connotes the influence of stakeholders, and from the graph, it is clear that it is highest at the beginning of the project. So what it means is, as the project progresses, the influence of a stakeholder becomes lesser and lesser. And what that means in practical terms is because you need, at the beginning of the project, there is a need to get clarity of requirement from the stakeholders. So influence at that point is high, because what is required, what then becomes the scope, is defined by the stakeholders at the start of the project. And once that clarity is obtained, once the plan reflects that need, then the project can continue in execution. And then, yeah, so what you then need the stakeholders for would then be more like approvals, checks, to be sure that what is being executed is in line with what was planned, which should have been in line with what was initially required. So that's the reason why that reduces as the project progresses.
Captured.
Interesting. 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 Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's just stop here for today. Yes. So I think we achieved a lot of speed because I was able to just skip over strategically, skip over some areas. By Friday, God willing, we're going to start the real core. Well, let's see. Or maybe we can just do some other small brushing up first before we start the core work on Friday. So, thank you very much. Do you have questions? Questions?
I don't. I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't have a question.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll meet in the group at some point. Please give us your time, give us your resources. We will be using it in the morning. In the mornings. And those of you who have not gotten the resources, please let us talk either tonight or you call me tomorrow morning, latest by 12 p.m. Please, let's put this behind
Okay.
us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Mohammed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.